Okay. Hey folks, Studio here, and this is a test video with my new setup. As you can see, things are currently not that great. Like, my background is my pants hanging on a coat rack kind of thing. Also, my microphone is right here. I do not want it right here. That will be changing shortly. And also, there's a weird angle for the camera. The reason I have this angle is because I want you to see my hands in huge perspective, but more importantly, my room is super messy. Like, I moved a couple weeks ago, I had MLG and all that to go to, and my room is currently trashed. Like, my god, there is crap everywhere. I don't want you guys to see that because I want to at least have the illusion that I am not a slob, so this is just going to be a quick test video. Now, like I said, I was at MLG this past weekend casting League of Legends. It was awesome. It was so cool. I'm actually going to be asking for feedback, most likely on Reddit, about the cast, the VODs for the beta streams or backup streams. I think they're calling them Stream 2 actually for MLG. Those are going to be up on Monday the 18th, but the live streams I did do with Dan Din on Sunday and Saturday should both be up, and those you can look at, give me some feedback. There were some awesome games. There were some seriously just cool games, and I love casting them. But this is a test video, and I still want to give some information out there because in a test video, I'm still going to go ahead and do everything I normally do. So let's go ahead and look at AP Kogmaw. Alright? Now, I'm going to be doing this right now. This is my first time really using XSplit and its features. So normally I go ahead and just, process everything at the end. I actually might have to do some post-processing just because I think there might be some background noise that might be a bit irritating. If there is, tell me. Awesome, I love this bug. So, this is a game between Team Navi, aka Not As Sincere, and Luna Gaming. These are two European teams, and they're both really solid teams. They're very strong, and let me show you guys how to fix a bug. So the way I do it is I hit Alt-Enter. This brings it to full screen mode, which messes up with XSplit. That could have been bad. I can then go to video, and I go to borderless like this to fix it. Let me make sure that XSplit. Okay, looks good. I hope it is. And let me check my audio because that might be loud. So these are all things that I've tested in the past, but I'm not positive. Okay. So a few things first. I'm gonna pause this right now. So this is Luna Gaming. They are not one of the higher tier European teams. They are a good European team though. They have some problems with practice. Normally someone might be, playing Terra or sleeping or something like that, and I believe some of their members are actually fairly young. So kind of like Boy for Dignitas had a really limited schedule while he was in school. This actually does affect Luna Gaming a bit. On a side note, Voyboy has graduated, so that is now gone. But I guess Voyboy from CLG now, my mistake. But Luna Gaming, they're a good team, and we're going to be focusing on mid, so the people we really care about are Kerp on Morgana, and Frogger on Skarner. So Citizen Wayne from Navi is going to be the AP mid-maw, and the people we care about for him are going to be the Shen, and really, we'll see the rest of the people around him. But as Kogmaw, the people you care about past the first couple minutes of the game are going to be their mid, because you'll fight them a lot, and their jungler, because they can gank you a lot. So let's actually go into how the jungle can gank Citizen right here. So let's say Skarner goes in for a gank through these bushes, and he gets close to Citizen. If that has happened, it is going to be successful, at least flash burned, because when Skarner gets close to Citizen, there is no decent escape for Citizen just because he will get that slow on him, he will not have an escape. However, if Kogmaw lands his Voidoos, which he has not actually leveled up yet, but will be getting at level 2, then that is a pretty strong slow, 20%. Skarner's gap closes are all based off movement speed, and with the way movement speed works, when your speed is increased, it is actually... Let's go way to put this. So let's say I have a bonus of 20% move speed, and I move at 300 speed, so I move at 360 speed. If I am slowed by 10%, it is not... it is multiplied at the very end. So this also factors in with, like base movement speed, like 50 movement speed from boots. So slows are really strong because of this. Like a 50% slow will usually take you down to like 200 normally, even if you're moving at forward move speed, just because of how it works. So that slow will actually dramatically hit Skarner, and it's going to be really good for Citizen to get away from. Now, Kerp can always land a binding, and that's going to be huge. If he does land a binding, once again, Citizen probably screwed. And it's going to be up to Crafty to protect him with his ult, but for the most part, Citizen just has to dodge bindings, has to keep himself safe, and he should be good. Now, that is how the lane should work, but let's go ahead and see how it actually works. And we're going to take away Vision from Luna Gaming, just because, well, frankly, I don't care about them. They are not people that we are actually here to watch. Now, Sand, he goes ahead, tries to get out, and tries to get some exploration done. He gets hit by a binding, almost gets hit by Ambush Heap Stun, and actually backs out. That's what he needs to do. That was actually a mistake from him to go out there like that. This is one of the hardest areas to scout, though, because of that binding through the wall. So actually, we're going to be thorough about this. Let's go ahead and look at the binding that they shoot. So, here's Kerp. Frogger with his Q, which we actually start with on Skyrim just for the slow and the jungle speed. Kerp goes straight to here, launches a Q across the wall, and it hits. This is how you invade this area. So you can't actually stay safe in the tri-bush. You have to either be out here, which, well, Sand was, but Sand doesn't have boots, so he was caught out. Okay. Now the rest of Navis are kind of in a bad spot right now because they don't know where anybody is. We have, you know, some vision here, some vision there. They're worried and they want to make sure that they keep the jungle protected, but they're not actually safe. That binding hits and Nezrelos retreats. He knows that there is no ward down, and we just saw one get placed. I don't think Citizen actually saw it get placed. So they're trying to stay safe, and then Ambush Heap had just slipped in those bushes. We have a flash burn from Citizen. Now, why that went wrong is that they were really trying to scare them off in a situation where they weren't actually good at scaring the enemy off. They want to know where they would show up. But something cool happens here. Here's Citizen. He is not at Wolves. He is not helping Leash Blue. He is just sitting in lane. And what this does is, we had a lot of people from Luna Gaming in this jungle. And when you do that, you can normally try and counter jungle and take the red, take the wraiths. So Citizen did not come from blue. He just kind of sat in lane. He was there the entire time. So they don't know where Shen started. Kerp right there started at blue buff. You could tell that he helped Frogger do blue buff because of where he walked from. This is actually something really important. You know that, alright, he's coming from over here, like right by this wall. That means he was at blue buff. We saw him come from over here. He clearly wasn't coming up from the lane, and definitely not any other angle. So there's a lot of information given right there. This might be a bit jam-packed with info. Sorry about that, guys. But the way this lane will work now is Citizen wants to stay safe. He wants to eventually hit that point where he is good. He did take some early damage, but it's not a huge deal. Morgana can't do a whole lot. She can throw down a binding right now. If she hits, he can go ahead and follow up with auto attacks, and that's it. Now, Citizen can't pressure Kerp too much right now. He does not know where Frogger is. He does not know where that Scorpion can show up. And the second he sees Frogger in one of these lanes ganking, he can start being aggressive mid with his Bioarcane Barrage, just using auto attacks to pressure Morgana if she ever gets close to that creep wave. Right now, though, he wants to make sure that he just gets some experience. He's trying to hit 6. That's where Kogmaw really gains strength. He gets his ultimate, and that's usually huge for a lot of characters, but AP Kogmaw is based off his ultimate. He has good skills. Bioarcane Barrage actually ends up being really effective, especially with the Lich Bane. And, you know, his E will hurt, his Q will hurt, but his ultimate is what makes him a poke champion. That long, high-ranged ability, and the fact that you can more or less do infinity damage before a fight starts if you have blue buff. So he's going to get pushed underneath the tower. This is actually an effective way to deal with a lot of characters. Not super effective against Kogmaw, actually, because he does have Bioarcane Barrage, but it's not a huge percentage now, and if, you know, minions are an awkward HP level, you can miss a lot of CS. So, for example, he's gonna miss a couple CS just because they're awkward HP levels where he can't really finish them off, and still pick up a few. And the CS difference overall is, 3. That builds up over time, but eventually he will get that farming potential. So Anivia is actually another character like Citizen, not like Citizen, like Kogmaw. Do the same thing, push him underneath the turret early, they're gonna have trouble CSing. Now, something big just happened. Kogmaw has 2 points in Bioarcane Barrage. Now he's applying the pressure. Now he feels it's a good time to be aggressive. And watch how he does it. He saw Kerp put down the Tormented Soul. He wants to finish off those creeps with auto attacks. And every time he tries to do that, he punishes with an auto attack. And he knows it's safe for a couple reasons. A, Tormented Soil is down. So if he does get bound, he's just going to take auto attacks, and he will win that war right now. And B, Morgana has crappy auto attack. Up in top lane, we have this pressure going on, and Frogger is trying to escape. This is going to turn into a gank, and I want you guys to see how Citizen reacts. Now, normally, when there is a fight going on across the map, unless you can do something, you don't go. And this is true across, like we have Antigen low on HP right now. That doesn't matter. Who cares? He is over there. If I cannot help him, why would I show up? And, well, that's actually going to happen a bit. We can go ahead and fast forward for a bit. So here's that gank. Ambush Sheep has blown his flash. The chase is on. And Citizen goes for this kill. Now, Nesralos has to back up. He has no mana. He has no HP. All I can do is auto attack. And Citizen, trying to get the kill, does do so. But he's going to die in this exchange. The Binding Tormented Soul lands. Kirby's trying to protect him. Has to actually back up. And was it worth it? Well, looking at CS, it's 27 CS on him versus 30 for Kerp. He did pick up the kill. Kerp only got the assist. Now, this would normally not be a huge issue if we did not have Kerp out of mana, because this lets Crafty do this. Just show up, auto attack, and just push him out of lane. So, whether that was predicted or not, that was a great time for Citizen to go ahead and go be aggressive. He only used Ghost, did not use any of the other summoners. No Flash, which has a much longer cooldown than Ghost. That is not the cooldown of Ghost and Flash, but Flash is about 4 minutes. Ghost is about, I think, 3.5. That'd be pretty good if it had 0-second cooldown, as we've seen from YouTube videos. And so he's behind 10 CS now, has a big old creep wave, and is going to catch up and farm. And that's something important about getting kills. You have to find the right time to pick up a kill. So there, it was a trade, a 1-for-1 exchange. We didn't have any assists coming down for Navi. That's kind of sucks. That makes it a bigger deal. But in terms of CS in the mid lane, he's not set far behind. He's actually more or less equal with Morgana right now, with the assist and with the advantage she had. And she didn't actually really grow her advantage because Shen was still there to clean up. So Citizen has hit level 6. This is the big AP Kogmaw moment. This is when it becomes AP Kogmaw. We're just going to go ahead and follow him around for a bit. He puts a ward here just to stay protected from Skarner. He's worried about him because, you know, if he does flash ultimate, he will die. Like, there's no doubt about that. Kerp can use his ultimate, stay close, and just burn him down. So he has to make sure that he does not just melt to a Skarner ult. And now he picks up blue buff. And we actually have Kerp trying to steal the blue buff, so we can look at it. So we didn't actually notice before. So Kerp goes into the brush. He's actually going to walk through this ward. They know that he's taking blue, and they want to steal it somehow. We don't know if there's any vision down. They actually had a vision ward to make sure there wasn't any vision down. And the random binding comes out. So Citizen actually moved towards this part of the jungle just to make sure he didn't get ganked. And they actually moved Golem back just in case there was a random binding coming through. So that was really cool. And something important to note, when people try and contest your blue buff, you want to do one of two things. You want to make sure that it just goes to your jungler, or you want to make sure that if you do plan to take it yourself, that you're taking it in a safe way, that you're not like blowing all of your skills before it gets low on HP, or you're just leaving it out in the open where it can be smoked. But we now have a level 6 Citizen. This is where Kogmaw becomes Kogmaw in terms of APness. So he has ultimate. It costs 40 mana for the first cast, but goes up to 200 depending on how much you spam it. And it has a really short cooldown, so you can spam it quite a bit. So he's going to go ahead and take advantage of his ultimate, start going for wolves, start going for wraiths, because he can. It has a short cooldown. He can manage his mana appropriately. He doesn't quite have unlimited mana, only at 380 right now. But with good control and occasionally resetting the cooldown, or not the cooldown, but the cost, you're in a good spot. And he wants to pressure Morgana in a way, at the same time he doesn't. It doesn't actually matter what happens in the mid lane, which is weird to say. So you can try and kill Morgana as Kogmaw, and it can be effective. Like, it's a good idea, but you need to make sure you're keeping your mana up, you're actually getting that CS, because even though Citizen can push up really quickly, so can Kerp. So it's his goal to, you know, try and stay safe, try and keep farming, and try and do things like this. So we saw him take wolves earlier, he's going to take wraiths now. And we see Shen in the top lane, so Shen's not really missing a whole lot. By the time he takes golems and maybe swings by wraiths, they should be back up. Wraiths, by the way, have a shorter respawn rate than the other camps, only 50 seconds. Which is actually really important because they're the easiest camp to steal. and they're worth quite a bit of gold. So looking at the CS now, it's 75 versus 70 for Kurt. So there's just, you know, his ultimate coming into play, the Wraith Steel's coming into play, and Citizen is just going to make sure he's safe, going to keep farming up, and go for a late game build. Because this is what you do on Kogmaw. You go for late game. Your goal is not to be good early game, because you're only okay. If you're early game, you're just a bad AD Kogmaw. Your ultimate will hurt a bit more, but I mean, look at that. A +7 damage on his ultimate for an AP, that's nothing. Your main goal is to farm up, build up a tier actually, and the tier is really important because of mana costs, and eventually be this late game poker. So we have the Baron attempt coming out from Luna Gaming, and what can Citizen do? Well, he's just going to try and poke. So the fight's going on over here, but he needs to stay safe. His goal is not to be anywhere near that fight, actually. This is going to be his goal in every team fight. Unfortunately, since he's only level 9, he doesn't have rank 2 ultimate, he can't actually get close. But this is what he does. He stays in a safe position, and he's just trying to ultimate. He's trying to clean up. And we actually have Luna Gaming. They did pick up 1 kill on Sand, but they're actually in a bad spot now because Citizen can stay safe behind all these jungle walls, and, well, actually be able to chase down and murder someone. Now the fight actually goes really well for Luna. They do not lose anybody else. We see people running out through this part of the jungle. And they're just going to chase down Kerp. And I like this because, well, for Luna it's good that they escaped, and then for Na'Vi, well, this was the only guaranteed kill they really had. And they will get it. And no flash blown by Citizen. I like that quite a bit. Very easy to just say, like, man, I'm scared. Let me just blow flash, get that kill. He needs that flash to stay alive himself. He has no escape options besides the slow. And once Skarner is actually getting supported, once there's, you know, a Jax maybe jumping on him, maybe a Lulu speeding up Skarner, that slow won't be enough. Let's go ahead and speed up. So, team fights are going to be cool for Citizen. He's going to have a lot of control, a lot of damage, and just be able to stay safe. And that's what you want to do as Kogmaw. You just want to stay safe. Now this is an interesting little engage. I'm just going to rewind it a bit so we can get a better view. This is why communication is important between teammates. Shen knew this was going to happen. He's not going to blow too much energy killing that one blue wolf. And Citizen comes up here, tries to get some pressure off. Sheep jumps on him, gets the power up, and he starts going for this kill. Actually blows flash. In comes the Shen ult, and this just resets the fight. Citizen can't actually keep chasing. He will die to another leap strike and power combo. But Sheep wants to stay safe. He knows he can't reliably get that kill right now. This did one of two things. It scared Jax off the tower. It did use Shen's ultimate, but they were able to blow the flash on Jax. And that's actually really important because, once again, Jax is all about chasing. So for someone like AP Kogmaw, for example, if Jax gets close and has his flash to keep chasing, that's going to be huge. They want to make sure Sheep, of all people on the enemy team, has his flash up as little as possible. Like, in terms of threats for Citizen, picture it this way. The people you're scared about are going to be the people who will be trying to kill you. So, Kerp can be kind of scary, but you're going to be far back, so you should have trouble getting to you. Frogger and Sheep, though, they will be going for you. So we have a fight going on bottom, but, well, Citizen realizes he's not needed, and he leaves. That's really important. Like, looking at bottom, it's a 2 versus 2. Citizen could actually help out a bit, but chances are we're just going to see an escape come from both teams. Like, Sand is low, but he will get away. So what does he do? He just goes back to farm mid. And this is something that I can't really say with any sort of clear confidence is what you should do. There's, you know, 6 creeps here. He would miss some CS if he had not gone back. But you have to eventually learn on your own what is a fight you can do something in, what is a fight you can't. Oh, that was weird. He missed that CS somehow. But in that case, this was a fight where no one died. He might have been able to pick up a kill, but he'd be coming in slow. He is not level 11 yet, so he doesn't have the extra range on his ultimate. And would he really be then effective there? And it's weird to say this because I always like to think in my head, help my team out as much as possible. That is true. You want to help your team out as much as possible, but you want to help them out in situations where you can actually do something. So, for example, helping kill Dragon is great. Showing up late to a fight and not really doing anything, even if you don't die, it's still bad. It's still a waste of time. And actually, this is something from Hotshot GG. He says you want to go ahead and spend as much time in the game farming as possible. So, that's weird, but any situation where you're not helping you or your team make money, you're falling behind. We actually had a bit of pressure. I want to look at this again. So this is what you do as Kog'Maw. You land one ult, you land another ult, and you usually don't stop landing those ultimates. Like, there's a bit of a rhythm to it. We're looking at it one more time. This time we'll slow it down. So, this first ultimate lands, it does a ton of damage, and he's just going to go ahead, keep track of it. There's now like a bit of a rhythm to it. So 1, 2, 3, he knows how fast Morgana will move. That movement speed cannot change. He does not have Ghost or Reverie, or I guess a Ghost Blade. So he just kind of keeps up that pace, and that's what you do as Kog'Maw. You want to keep up that pace of the ultimates going off, and you kind of create a bit of a threat zone. Now, what I mean by this is people end up being afraid to move forward or backwards or to the side. So any direction they move in, they feel threatened. Now, a good example of this skill is going to be Cho'Gath's Q. Cho'Gath has a really hard Q to actually land, but what you can do with it is make people scared to move in a direction. So like, let's say they have the choice of either move into your Q and get knocked up, or move back towards you or to the side and then have to fight you. That's what Cho'Gath's Q lets you do. Now, unfortunately, it's not always effective, and that's actually the same case with Citizen. And I like this. I like the pressure he always applies. You know, just randomly checks Wraiths. We could see an animation going off. He couldn't, though. And he just checks it randomly and says, I wonder if Frogger's doing them, and picks up a little Wraith, which isn't huge, but it's nice. And he has blue buff now. This is his time to just be aggressive. So he's hit level 12, actually. He has rank 2 of his ultimate, only doing an extra 14 damage, but now the range is so high on it that he can just spam it like crazy. So his main goal right now is just, you know, keep up the aggression, use that blue buff to its fullest. It's about halfway done now, and he's just not going to stop with those R's. Now, Kerp does have Spellbound. Kerp can actually heal quite a bit, but he takes so much damage just waiting for those creeps to bunch up in him to get a Tormented Soil off that he actually can't. Now, we have a gank come on to Citizen, and I missed the start of it. I'll show you why it's a cool gank. This is Citizen knowing his limits. So Frogger comes in from here. We have plenty of time. He actually walked towards him briefly, and Citizen knew he was coming. He does blow Ghost, but he gets Frogger to blow his flash. So blowing Ghost was a bit of a mistake, I'd say. He'd normally want to wait a little more, but he was able to blow the flash on Frogger, waste his time, and then disengage happens. This is just good communication from Navi, and the miscommunication from Luna Gaming. When I say miscommunication, watch Skarner. What's he doing? He's turning around. Okay, I was actually wrong. That was actually great communication from Luna Gaming. I thought he was moving away. He wasn't. So great communication from Luna, but they just did not account Shen'el, and they got punished for it. Whoa! Jump to live is not what I wanted to do. Whoa! That is a button I never want to press, apparently. My mistake. So we'll speed up just a bit, just to get back to where we were. And I hope you're getting a good feel for the Kog'Maw laning. So he's staying aggressive with his ult. He is never going all in, though. He's never going, I'm going to tower dive you, I'm going to force down this kill. He can do it, but he doesn't have Ignite. He doesn't have these aggressive summoner spells. And because of that, well, it's not a good idea. So there you go, here's that kill. And I will not press jump to live this time. Kerp goes down. Frogger actually tries to kill Crafty. Crafty's just going to get out of there. That was cool. That was a cool engagement. So back to Citizen Wayne. Now that we are not watching silly things happen. So here he is. He's still mid lane, and he's still doing the same thing over and over. He's waiting for his mana, making sure he manages it properly, and just kind of, you know, going for wraiths. And managing mana properly, that's a weird thing to say. How do you know what's enough mana? Well, it all depends on what you want to do. If you want to just go for CS, well then enough mana is just going to be to get that CS. If you want to go for CS and stay in lane for a long time, which is not what he did right there, then enough mana is going to be enough to cast your spells, to harass someone down, possibly kill them, and to have enough mana for your own escapes. So enough mana to use all your skills in a long-term situation. So, for example, spamming his ultimate without blue buff and you just using 200 mana every time is going to be really bad. So I'm still getting used to the timings here. Okay, we have Kogmaw coming in, and we have Luna Gaming doing Dragon. Let's watch how Kogmaw handles this fight. Kogmaw can. So he ultimates. He's using Bioarcane Brush. He's getting relatively close. But his main goal is to kind of stay separated, just make sure his team is hopefully protecting him. And eventually, once he realizes the damage is enough, he starts going for Bioarcane Barrages. He starts going for the offensive attacks. So he just kind of sits him back. And that's his thing. That's all he does. He's not going for aggressive kills. He's not really going for a whole lot. He's just going for poke. And now he has blue buff. Now he can go ahead, finish off Far, get this ace for Na'Vi. I think it's important to watch. Let's watch the fight from the perspective of Luna Gaming. And we can see the effects of Citizen in that fight. So he's all about the poke. So here we have just them all grouped up. He does get relatively close, but he's in a situation where if you jump for him, you're going to be kind of split off. Crafty's in their team, he does go down, but they really can't get to him. And by the time they do go for him, people have started to show up from the rest of the team. We do have Nezrela showing up on Olaf. We do have just extra people showing up. And when they actually try and go for him, they actually get caught off by Urgot. So they protect Kogmaw, they split up the team, and he just pokes them down. It does actually get closer later on, and it's an awesome fight for them. Let's go back to their vision. So from the perspective of Luna Gaming, what just happened was we had Citizen way in the back. He was hard to get to. By the time he was easy to get to, the rest of Nana's Vincier had shown up, had started pressuring it, and they really just couldn't catch him. So we're going to speed up a bit more, just because we don't need to watch everything in 1x speed, or do we? I don't know. Depending on what you guys think of this, give me feedback and all that. And something I have not mentioned this game yet is how important blue buff is. So, looking at his mana regeneration right now, that is not his mana regeneration. His mana regeneration is 100 per 5. That's a lot of MP5. That's a ton of mana per 5. This means that every second he's getting 20 mana. Every 2 seconds he gets another ultimate at his base cost. And that's important. That means that he can spam like crazy, he can be aggressive, he can waste mana, more or less. And the reason that's important is because he pokes. That's all he does. So he's trying to throw out skill shots constantly. Not all of his ultimates need to hit. Not all of his ultimates need to be that important. It's not an Amumu ult. So because of this, with that blue buff, you get all this freedom all of a sudden. All of a sudden you can spam like crazy, you will get your mana back, you will not go and just be a worthless Kog'Maw who has, 800 AP, but no mana to even use by Arcane Barrage and do anything. And this kind of applies for a lot of characters. Morgana's a good example. Morgana will shift her playstyle from using Tormented Soul to farm, to just shooting out bindings randomly to go for kills. You can still do that without blue buff, but it's riskier, and you might run out of mana and just get pushed out of lane really quickly. So, mana management is something that you will learn with experience through Kogmaw. You will learn why you actually get an Archangel Staff after a Rylai's and build a tier first. And the reason for that is because, well, you don't need the HP of Adorans, and you need just a crap load of mana. Mana regen is nice, so you could go for Dorans, but you don't need that. You need the crap load of mana just because later on when you start getting into team fights, it's not going to be about the sustain, it's going to be about you just having a crap load of mana for the fight. And it's important to keep blue buff and actually watch your own blue buff. If the enemy starts going for your blue buff, well, a lot of the things Citizen has been doing he wouldn't be able to do because he just doesn't have the mana. So let's go ahead and fast forward until the next team fight. We'll just watch Citizen. I hope you got a good idea of the landing. He just kind of stays far in the back, stays safe at this point, doesn't have blue buff, so he's not going to be too aggressive. And his main goal is just to get items. He is a late game character. He is someone who's amazing late game, not great early game, and good mid game, but he wants to get to late game. And if you look actually at the gold distribution, he has 9,600 gold. But we have a team fight coming out, or at least him being involved in something. So let's go ahead and see how that plays out. So the fight starts, Antigen gets ulted on by a lot of people, and he's just in the back. Like, we can actually... It's actually going to be fun, but he just stays way far in the back and just uses ultimate and just keeps spamming people down. This is almost what you do with normal Kog'Maw. You just spam like crazy and keep yourself out of range. This is like Protect the Kog'Maw team, but just at the extreme. So what I thought would be fun to do is let's go ahead and go into Kog'Maw perspective and just stay in the close Kog'Maw range. I want you to see how often people get close to him and realize that the rest of Na'Vi is actually helping them out with this. So even at this zoomed in perspective, The only person close to him right now is Frogger. His ultimate was used, so he's not scary. Kerp teleports in, but Citizen just walks out. So the second there is any sort of threat, the second there is any sort of danger, he gets away. I actually really like this play. He used Ghost, and he just used his auto attacks to apply red buff. He saw him pick it up, himself pick it up, and now he's able to just, auto attack down Kerp. So what's important to remember about AP Kog'Maw actually is that with Bio-Arcane Barrage, you still have a massive, massive auto attack. I mean, 8% of someone's max HP, every auto attack, when you're attacking for one, attack a second, is still really good. Even if you're not building a ton of AD, that's still a lot of damage they're taking. And that's just gonna increase. As Citizen gets more AP, his auto attack will get scarier and scarier, which is not the case for most AP champions. Most AP characters just like, well, I still do, 40 auto attack damage through your armor. This is not gonna be the case. It's actually one of the reasons why you can use Lichbane on him is because he's gonna have that scary auto attack, and you're gonna have the range to follow it up. So that's something cool about AP Kog'Maw. He is not just a traditional AP carry. He also has that auto attack advantage. Something Ziggs and Orianna, I think, are the few characters that share with him. And even then, it's not quite the same. It's actually much better for Kog'Maw just because of his range. Cool, isn't it? But even when he pushes down this tower, even when he's, not trying to be too aggressive, he still applies a lot of damage. Look how much damage his E did right there. So in E, ultimate combo did half of Fu Sharp's HP. And he scales now. He's scary. He's at a point where he's going to be difficult to kill. You're going to have to make sure you blow him up. But, well, let me talk about his items. And his items are really cool. So he has Archangel Staff. Archangel Staff is actually not that cool. That is just a lot of mana, a lot of AP. But he does have 2,500 mana right now. So, even, assuming he has the max cost of his ultimate, it's still going to be 12 casts. Now, the Rylai's is cool. That just kind of helps you land more ultimates. And the fight started. So we have Baron actually coming out for Luna Gaming. And let's see how this sets up. So it doesn't really matter what's happening here in all honesty. Like, you can see spells being used. What's going to matter is how Citizen does this, because he's the guy we're watching. So the fight comes down. Let's just watch where his ult lands. He's just trying to peg anybody, trying to stay safe, and just trying to make sure that they don't have an easy time escaping. So the ultimate does land on 2 people, but unfortunately they flash away, and he could have gone for a chaser. He could have gone straight for Morgana. He's not going to do it. It's just not what you do as Kog'Maw. You do not go aggressive. You do not get close unless you're in such a good situation where they have no chance of killing you. Morgana could have landed a soul, could have landed a binding, and taken him fairly low. So instead he just pushes, and he is a great pusher. Something to remember is that 40% of ability power on a character, if they don't build AD, is going to be used as bonus damage to turrets. So Kog'Maw right there doing a ton of damage to that turret, actually. And you actually cannot really defend against an AP Kog'Maw. The reason for this is because of his ultimate. He just spams it like crazy. You are in a situation where you want to be in a certain area, and Kog'Maw, what can he do? He can punish you for being there. He can land his ultimate, he can just do his high damage, and there's not a lot you can do to defend against it. But let's look at Nauti's Vincier as a whole right now. We have Olaf, super tanky, not too much damage. Urgot, super tanky, not too much damage. Channa, relatively tanky, and Shen, super tanky, not too much damage. So where is all the damage coming from? It's coming from the Kog'Maw, whose only HP item is a Rylai's, which is actually not bad, but still, the idea is there. The rest of Nauti's Vincier is building incredibly tanky, incredibly defensive, because A, that's what you do on Urgot, and B, on the rest of those characters, they know it is not their goal to survive and do damage, it is their goal just to be a meat shield, be this Kog'Maw protecting shield. He has 388 move speed, he has Ghost, he has Flash. His goal in terms of summoners, in terms of abilities, is to be defensive and safe. So let's speed up a little bit, just try and get to some more action. And at this point in the game, something cool about Kog'Maw is you have bush check potential. So what if the enemy team was doing Baron and we didn't have a ward here? There is no ward here for Nauti's Vincier. You could go ahead, spam your ultimate, and just see, are they doing Baron? I have vision. This applies to bushes, this applies across the map. We haven't seen Citizen do it a whole lot, actually, because there have been some great warding from Na'Vi, and he's been pretty confident in which bushes he enters. But this is kind of like Maokai, same thing. If you're not confident, throw in a sapling. Just go ahead, give yourself that vision. Let's see if he actually does it this time. Nope. So Baron did actually go to. Let me just check something. Okay, Baron was okay. I still disabled Baron for a second. I thought they picked up another Baron. I was really confused. I'm still trying to adjust to the notes I've taken for this and to what's going on. I think I might have skipped a little past it. Anyhow, there was an attempt trap being set up right here by Nosfins here. They were not successful. And this is kind of their goal. Keep the blue buff up on Kog'Maw. This is super important, as I've said before. And if they take blue control, Morgana cannot do her binding thing. She will eventually run out of mana. And their goal is to, just put themselves in a position where Kog'Maw is at his fullest. Because they have a Kog'Maw-centric team. And the Quicksilver Sash comes out from him. And I like this idea. I like that AP builds have kind of adapted from just building straight up murder people. And the reason for this is if he does get caught out by somebody, he now has that escape. You can't get Morgana ulted now. You can't get just stunned by Jax and burned out immediately. And there's some weird lag here. This was actually in-game and in the replay. Not a lot happens, which I'm actually really happy about. All the chat you can hear is just them going, wow, look at that lag. So there was lag, but not too much happened. So, as Nosfins here, your plan now is to set up a siege. What this means is, you're just going to go ahead, you're going to poke, you're just going to be defensive, you're just going to eventually whittle down these towers, whittle down the players defending those towers, and if they try and defend, by the time they actually do that, they will be so low, you can engage with like the most safety possible. So a team like CLG North America, for example, is actually a great strategy for them because they love to engage on their own terms. And you follow that up with Urgot, and they actually really can. So it's just going to keep happening. You're just going to keep seeing this pace, this momentum. There will be an ultimate at the tower. It will try and hit someone. Shen will be split pushing just to do that because he can. And it's going to be the choice for Luna Gaming: do they engage or do they back up, retreat, and try and play defensively? So they try and engage, but they're too scared. They actually blow 2 reveries. Herp uses the ultimate, and what happens for Na'Vi? Well, here we have a couple of characters. What really matters is Citizen gets away. He is just being chased by Frogger, but I mean, Citizen can 1v1 Frogger. I mean, AP Kog'Maw is actually really good at 1v1s. And Luna Gaming, they did identify the problem. They did not identify that the real threat was going to be Kog'Maw, but they just couldn't get to him. And they lose that fight because of that. So let's go ahead and let's go on to Citizen Cam, because I like saying Citizen Cam. So Citizen Cam in that team fight, what does he do? His team protected him. His team was just trying to slow them. We had people getting just kind of slowly left behind for Na'Vi. But Citizen Cam, what is his goal? So he's just retreating nonstop. He gets hit by the ultimate, blows Quicksilver Sash immediately, blows Ghost, and just keeps running. We actually had the ultimate landing on his sand, which I don't think was actually intended, but that was the goal. Just get all the way over here. And actually what was pretty cool for Na'Vi is they started to win the fight anyways, just because they were really far ahead. If that wasn't the case, we would have had more cleanup coming in from Citizen. He would have been able to win the fight at that point. And actually, Imba Sheep, does he get away from this? No, he doesn't. So that was a fight. That was how you want the fights to go. That was actually extra optimal because we did have, Citizen with a pretty sizable goal lead right now. But the idea is there. And I hope you're getting that. You're getting that your goal is just be a huge coward. I know it's weird to say that, but you don't have to fight every fight the same way. You don't have to fight as a huge AoE cluster. You don't have to fight as men. Kog'Maw is not a man. He is a Void Beast. And as a Void Beast, he has to fight like the Void Beast fights. I don't really know what Cho'Gath is. He's like the Void Beast of beasts. And he's, super beefy, super tanky. Not someone you want to mess with. Kog'Maw is this little dog thing. Kog'Maw is someone who, if he did not spit acid out, you could keep as a pet. But we have the respawns coming in from Luna Gaming. Na'Vi retreats. This is good. This is something really important to talk about. Retreating at the right time, being safe, being defensive, is the sign of a good team, the sign of a good player. This applies to every game. This applies to StarCraft. This applies to Street Fighter. If you're pressuring your guy too much, and you do get a good, lead in terms of HP, but you still do risky pressure, you're going to get punished in Street Fighter, you're going to get punished in StarCraft, you're going to get punished in League of Legends. That's why you see lots of throws happen in LoL, because people are like, I can take him. Nope, you can't. I don't care if you have 12,000 gold, 14,000 gold advantage. It doesn't matter if you're so low on HP, they burst you instantly. Something that I like to say, and it might sound really obvious, is if you're dead, you do no damage. And I know that is really, really obvious, but that's why you see items like Quicksilver Sash come out onto Citizen, why you see this Rylai's, why you see just items to help him survive, help him kite. The Rylai's does help him offensively, but that's not what matters in this little example. By keeping himself safe and alive, well, he's in a really good spot to keep doing that damage. And especially considering the fact that the rest of his team is decent damage but not building for high damage, he's really important and he's to actually be dealing that damage. Anyhow, so a really interesting thing happens here. I love the end of this game. This is one of my favorite ends ever, actually. So we have Citizen and Vine, or that's your last pushing bot lane. I always want to say Vines because it's the VI, then NES. But anyhow, they're pushing bot, they go mid, they're trying to actually catch up Fusharp, and we have a fight going on in the rest of the game. So Fusharp does go down here. And right now there's the Engage, there's the Channel, there's Sand. But guess what? Who cares about that? That engagement is happening, that engagement is going on, but we have two people pushing down and they're going to win the game. In the end, right now Luna Gaming could win this engagement, doesn't matter. Because, well, this Nexus is going down. That is a big Lulu. Okay. So this was Luna Gaming versus Nodus Fancier in the 4PL, I want to say monthly finals of May. Now, let me have a quick recap. As League of Legends TM client has stopped working, I think that's a little replay issue. So, this was a test video. It's going to be rough. There are actually some things I want to fix right now, but I figured I should just make this test video with the base case as is. Oh, in case you're wondering about the annotations, or not the annotation, but the XSplit, there you go, the XSplit watermark, which should be like right here. There's currently an issue with my XSplit account. I purchased it with a, with a gift code, and I lost the gift code because I switched computers and it was on my old computer, and because of that, well, they're trying to fix it, but I can't give them the gift code, so keep track of your gift codes, guys. Now, this was, a test video. Tell me what you like about it. There are some things I will be changing for sure. This is, working with the setup, working with the XSplit, and just doing this. I love doing this, but I haven't had the opportunity. And, yeah. I will be seeing you guys very shortly with more videos. I'm back, baby.